November 2nd? Oh, God, I put on November 1st. Well, you can't win them all. I can tell you that. Bob, happy Monday. Ouija, hey, everyone. Hey, Jake, Darren, good evening. Anyone else experiencing an anxiety attack? Well, yes, we can discuss that in a minute. Sharon, greetings. Julie, better late than never. Yes, I'm here. I'm here and I'm ready for action. I'm ready for the show today. I've got a topic for Motivational Monday, and I also have this fun-sized Snickers that my daughter acquired for me. She knows that I do love a Snickers. I have to say, love a Snickers, love a Payday. If you're bringing me candy bars to show, Snickers and Payday, delicious. Beautiful in Boise, Todd. Well, good to see you. Glad to hear it. Jen, welcome aboard. Julie, you're freaking out. How did we beat Keys here? David, good question. He's usually here first. I'm not worried about Keys. He may be doing some important electioneering work or whatever he's doing. I'm not sure, but we don't. Yes, I've been talking to friends who are saying, yeah, huge anxiety, a lot of worry about if the election doesn't go the way that we want it to go. And I know that we've got people on both sides, certainly in the world, about that. And we're just going to have to see what happens. We're all voting. Hello, Don. And we're doing the best that we can. And we're going to see what happens. And then we're going to decide what we're going to do after that. I have noticed here in Santa Monica, there are some businesses, the used clothing place on Main Street here that my daughter loves, called Buffalo Exchange, is boarding up. They're boarding up. Just as a precautionary measure in case there's going to be some kind of protesting or marching or whatever. I'm not worried about that. I'm not worried about marching. I don't think there's going to be marching. You have tons of Halloween candy left over, Jen. Yeah, only 5 or 6 trick-or-treaters. We didn't have any. Bob says my wife is a poll watcher tomorrow. That's poll watcher. Get your minds out of the gutter. Huh? I'm not sure what you mean there. Poll. Yeah, we're all going to be on our best behavior. We're all going to vote, and we're all going to see what happens. And then we're all going to do our best regardless of the outcome. And so that's where I'm at. And we'll all be here on Wednesday. I'll be here. We'll all be here tomorrow, hopefully. And we'll all be here on Wednesday and Thursday and Friday and next week. And we'll do our best and we'll see what happens. I know we all have our anticipations and our fears, but best to see what happens at this point and not, don't project yourself into some possible future that may not happen and worry about that. Let's just all deal with what's happening right now, and let's all do our best and be nice to each other. Now, today, Julie says, first time I've ever seen this country literally divided, fighting each other. Well, I think it's easy to look at the media and the stories that they put out there and feel like we're fighting each other, but I know people who are on both sides of the election, favoring one or the other candidates. And the reality is I don't think any of us wants to fight anyone else. We certainly disagree, but I think the reality is that most people are decent and able to have a conversation. Anyway, I'm hoping for that. Ed says one of our first stores to board up in your area is always the Good Vibrations high-end store selling what you might think it sells. Oh, is that a sex supply store? That, yeah, well, you gotta board that up because nothing can get you through a pandemic like a good sesh in the sack. All right, Flavia, deal with it one day at a time. Yes. Bob says my anxiety is not related to the possibility of trading one set of crooks for another. Yeah, I hear you. I have good friends on each side too, Bob. So today for Motivational Monday, because let's get on with this. Jen, you don't need to load your gun. Nobody's shooting anybody. So Lady Jerry will be here in a bit. She's boarding up the compost heap. Yeah, we don't want someone to steal our shit. So yeah, Lady Jerry will be here in a bit, but she was going to let me do Motivational Monday. And today, someone suggested last week this speech by Teddy Roosevelt called the man. It's known as the Man in the Arena speech, and this is just an excerpt from a much longer speech, which I think I knew. And this man in the arena speech is an excerpt from a speech that Teddy Roosevelt gave at the Sorbonne in Paris, a famous French university, hundreds of years old. And he gave this speech in 1910, so it's 110 years ago and a few months now. And he's talking to the French, and he starts off talking about how there's more to it than this man in the arena bit. But let me read you the man in the arena part, because it's on, people put this up a lot of times at a martial arts school, because it is about the man in the arena, the person who's fighting the battle, or the artist who's making the art or writing the book, or the person who's out there doing things. And so this is the excerpt that people most often, when you say the man in the arena speech, this is what they're talking about. And it's the excerpt of this much larger speech that I'll talk about in just a minute. But this is Teddy Roosevelt, President Teddy Roosevelt, Theodore Roosevelt, in 1910 at the Sorbonne in Paris. It is not the critic who counts, not the man who points out how the strong man stumbles, or where the doer of deeds could have done them better. The credit belongs to the man who's actually in the arena, whose face is marred by dust and sweat and blood, who strives valiantly, who errs, and who comes short again and again, because there is no effort without error and shortcoming, but who does actually strive to do the deeds, who knows great enthusiasms, the great devotions, who spends himself in a worthy cause, who at the best knows in the end the triumph of high achievement, and who at the worst, if he fails, at least fails while daring greatly, so that his place shall never be with those cold and timid souls who neither know victory nor defeat. So it's talking about how, of course, there's plenty of people who want to be critical and cynical, and the credit goes to the people who are out there fighting, whether they fail or not. Obviously, you could hear that, and that that's what he's talking about. But he also, in this speech, is talking about a lot of other things, and it's worth reading the whole speech, which is, that's one paragraph. And this speech, when I went to print it out for the show, and I'm out of ink, so I couldn't print a hard copy, was, on the way to 30 pages long. And it's a pretty great speech, and it kind of reminds you of a time when presidents were articulate and intelligent and were really making powerful points. And he's talking about critics, but he's also talking about cynics. And he says there are many men, this is from earlier in the speech, there are many men who feel a kind of twisted pride in cynicism. There are many who confine themselves to criticism of the ways others do what they themselves dare not attempt. There's no more unhealthy being, no man less worthy of respect than he who neither really holds or feigns to hold an attitude of sneering disbelief towards all that is great and lofty, whether in achievement or in that noble effort which, even if it fails, comes to second achievement, a cynical habit of thought and speech, a readiness to criticize work which the critic himself never tries to perform, an intellectual aloofness which will not accept contact with life's realities. All these are marks, not of a possessor who would feign to think of superiority, but of weakness. And he's talking about how, there's plenty of people who talk the talk, but they don't want to walk the walk, or they say that you can't do things, and so they don't even try and do things. And he also talks about how, in this same speech, a lot of other things. He talks about how, yes, it's great if you are a person who's successful in business and who can amass great wealth, who's clever and accomplish things and can get rich. But that's nothing if you don't use that wealth. Or it's great if you are really intellectual, or if you're a great speaker. It's great to be a great speaker, but if you don't use that ability to speak and articulate, and if you don't use that wealth to do good works, then it's pointless. And you shouldn't be looked up to just because you're rich. You should be looked up to because not only did you have the skill to get wealthy, but then you use that wealth to make the world a better place. Now, this is from later in the speech. Let those who have keep, let those who have not strive to attain a higher standard of cultivation and scholarship. So cultivation is, he's talking about money, and scholarship is talking about intelligence. Let us remember that these stand second to certain other things. There's a need of a sound body and even more of a sound mind, but above mind and above body stands character. So physical strength and physical wealth and intellectual ability, that's second to character. The sum of those qualities, character, which we mean when we speak of a man's force and courage, of his good faith and sense of honor, I believe in exercise for the body, always provided that we keep in mind that physical development is a means and not an end. I believe, of course, in giving to all the people a good education, but the education must contain much besides book learning in order to be really good. We must ever remember that no keenness and subtleness of intellect, no polish or cleverness in any way make up for the lack of the great solid qualities. This is what he's talking about. Self-restraint, self-mastery, common sense, the power of accepting individual responsibility, and yet of acting in conjunction with others. Courage and resolution, these are the qualities which mark a masterful people. Without them, no people can control itself or save itself from being controlled from the outside. And I think that, so when he's talking about giving respect to the man in the arena, that's one thing. But I just love these qualities that he lists. And I think that these are qualities that we really look for in our leaders. And, we can argue whether or not we see them in any of the choices now, but I'd rather not do that. Just to say that let's not lose sight of, it's great to be smart. It's great to be a good speaker. It's great to be able to make yourself rich. But someone who has self-restraint, self-mastery, common sense, the power of accepting individual responsibility and yet of acting in conjunction with others, courage and resolution, these are the qualities which mark a masterful people. It's a really great speech, this Teddy Roosevelt speech. So I suggest that you kind of check the whole thing out, read the whole thing, because it's got a lot to say. It's got a lot to say about rich people not being the be-all, end-all, and articulate people and persuasive people, about integrity and strength of character. And that's what we really want to be focusing on individually, and I think that's what we want to be looking for in our leaders. All right. Hello, Jeff. Better late than never. Speaking of which, here is Lady Jerry. Welcome aboard.
Hello, everybody. Hello. Oh, goodness gracious. Look at the painting you've put up there. It's the guy spying on the nude lady.
Yes, yes.
Nice. That's a nice picture to have in your office.
Well, you told me that I should hang that up.
Yes.
I showed you that picture, and you said, I should hang it up.
Yeah.
And I can show that. Maybe we'll show that
That's a
Wednesday.
Nice wall for it. Yeah, she's a cutie, and he's sort of a little bit creepy, but you get why he really wants to look at her.
It's a voluptuous young lady and a man who's somewhat older, working farmer, and he's having a peek at her. She's having a little nap. Well, maybe I'll turn it around, and you can have a look. I don't even know if you can really get a sense of that.
It's got Christmas tree
photo
light shining
there
on it.
Yeah, but that's it, and it's the Nelson Atkins Museum of Art. I can't remember who that painting is, but there, you've seen that. You've heard the man in the arena speech.
Well, so much you can take personal responsibility. Thanks, Scott. Thanks. But you don't always have to, Jen, because she's saying she takes personal responsibility for losing her job. No. Well,
I think it's always good to ask yourself what you could have done differently. But yeah, you don't want to beat yourself up about things.
No beating yourself up. So
Scott says, "Well, worth the wait." So
yes, and I
get
said,
on with it.
Yeah, and I said, yeah. So do something. Yeah. Well, give me that, and I'll be in charge of that. Thanks. And I just did want to say that my little cough that I did just then, in case anybody heard it, it's not COVID. I do not have a COVID.
Well, we can't be sure.
Well, no, I know. It's when we had the bad air a few weeks ago when we were having all the fires, and I can feel it gave me a little bit of a cough.
Did you say bad air?
Yeah, sorry, I missed my own cue.
Yeah.
I cued myself to do the
Do
fart
you
machine
know-
and then I
do you
forgot.
know how
because-
show business works? It's Monday
Yeah,
and we're
how-
already pegged on the fun meter.
Yeah, how does show business work, Jerry? Give me, I mean, how does it work? Because,
Well,
you know,
dare I say that we are doing it right now.
yeah, we're deep in it. We're
Yeah.
knee deep in showbiz right now. Yeah,
knee deep.
Yeah.
Cindy's asking if that was Halloween candy. Yeah,
Yes.
well, I think Fanula bought some Halloween candy.
So this is what the hilarious thing. So this year Halloween happened for the kids up in the house, and they there wasn't really trick or treating, or you had to wear gloves and a face shield, maybe you had to be in a plastic tent. But so I gave Fanula some money so they could go to Kelsey's, buy their own. They trick or treated with she trick or treated with her 3 close friends. And they watched some Tim Burton movies. No, they didn't actually. Did they watch Psycho? No, they didn't watch Psycho.
No, they watched American Horror Story.
No, that was the next day with the neighbors. No, they watched something else on.
Well, I beg your pardon.
Get it right. It's lucky that you're here for me to help you get it right. We were up on the deck with some friends, having a very socially distanced Halloween. We weren't really in costume. I'd thought about going as a witch, but I just didn't have my hat on. That's the first. Or my black cat. You've got to have your black cat with you.
Yeah,
I
and we
forgot
loaned our bird wings to the neighbors.
Yeah, we loaned the black feathered bird wings to the neighbors, and anyway, they've got Snickers bars. They got the fun size Snickers bar, which Jake loves. I'm not a Snickers bar person. But so now the fun size is all for fun size, Jerry. Fun size. It's all
Fun
for
size,
yeah.
yeah,
Fun
well,
size. It's all
that
for
is
you
fun.
and Fanula.
So Jen is saying she needs to choose in school or virtual learning for the next 9 weeks. Need to get her out of this house. Yet I'm nervous. Texas COVID cases are skyrocketing.
Yeah, don't. Ooh.
Something, please make
Okay,
this
I'm going to
decision
make the decision for you.
Well, I think we'd both like to. We can do a point counterpoint because it seems
Okay.
like we might disagree on this.
Okay, so I totally get that you need to get her out of the house, but I think if COVID cases are going really nuts, Jen, you love your daughter, right? You love her and you want to keep her. So I would say no, but there are other ways that you can get her out of the house. And as you fortuitously are not working, you can help get her out, because she's the same age as Fanula, right?
Yes,
She's a
could I
teenager.
suggest a tint, or a tint, as they say in New Zealand?
Yeah,
You could
tint.
get a
Get a nice
tint
tint.
and put it right outside the house, and you could say you're on school camp out. You're in a tent during the day. That's where you're going to school, and you get her a little porta toilet out there. It'd be fun. You can get a mini fridge, plug it in, have her be in the tent all day. But I don't know. I think also, I can't remember how old your daughter is, but I think she's the same age as our daughter, 16. So if we get faced with this choice, and it seems that we may here, because they're talking for us about the next level, if the county goes to a more open policy, the next level will be they may do half in school, half at home, and then some people will still also have the option of being fully at home. And what I would say to our daughter at that time is, why don't we all talk about this together? She's not as big of a problem at home, but I would let her have a voice in it, because I do think the chances that she's going to get terribly a bad case of this are small from what we hear about young people. And also Belinda and I think are in a little bit of, we're older, but I think we're in a lower risk because we're healthy and we don't have comorbidities.
I'm not older. Speak for yourself.
I don't have a worry about Fanula going to school and bringing the varinus home and getting me sick. But that's the other concern.
Well, Jen, her concern also is that her daughter's gone from being an A student, she got 2 Fs during virtual learning. So this is a big factor. And I really do hear that, because I get it really sucks. Some kids love being virtual learners, but yeah, they zone out. They're sick of being on the computer by the end of the day. They don't want to do their homework. And then they really miss hanging out with their friends. I mean, I was talking about it with one of Fanula's friends who I drove home from the Halloween shindig at our place. I was told I was going to be driving this kid home at midnight. Her parents weren't coming to pick her up. I was driving her home. And she was telling me, sorry, it says we're having trouble with the video right now, so if you've lost us. But she was telling me that, that how much it sucks, because that thing of the decompression where they all went and, jumped on the beanbags at lunchtime and a big pile on. Well, now they can't pile on with each other. They can't be on the beanbags, boys on top of girls. And, I mean, that's what teenagers like to do.
Yeah, I mean, everybody's got to make this decision for themselves. But I I would ask our daughter a little bit, and we would talk it out. The reason it says November 1st on the screen is because when I was typing in, it was late, and I put in November 1st. It is November 2nd. You're right. It's November 2nd. I made a mistake there.
Yeah. He's not on top of everything. I mean, he really tries, and he's pretty good, aren't you? You're pretty good, but every now and then, a little thing like the date. Like our car, that stupid Subaru doesn't know that it's November, that daylight saving has happened. And it's so annoying because every other clock in your life is able to, I mean, I've got my phone in airplane and do not disturb, and it still has got the right time on it. Our atomic clock in the kitchen just whirls around and gets to the right time. But the car, and then the other thing about that frickin' Subaru, as we call them in New Zealand, where they keep on winning the prize for being the best car of the year, it's really hard to do anything on the dial and change the time. It's just not intuitive. I have to get out the manual. He won't do it. He just leaves it to me.
No, I was going to go in and do that
good.
today. But
good. All right, I don't have to.
So let's see. I was just scrolling up. Oh, yeah. Jen, you're saying maybe college will take 2020 into account.
Yes,
I think that
so.
is the case because everyone is going through Varinus. That's the good thing about this. Everyone's going through it, and so everyone is going to understand your explanations of what happened or what you had happen there. Ed says his wife's class going back to part-time in-person tomorrow. She's going to be a full-time distance teacher. Well, that's interesting. Yeah, here they're saying that they may do a thing where they've got some students in class, some students at home that swap back and forth, and then they have some that are distance all the time, and that it may be a simultaneous thing. So even when you're at home, you're still watching on screen what's happening in class to the other half of your class. But we'll see. We're all just working this out. I mean, I get it that we're all kind of tired of having to figure shit out, but I think we're going to have another year of figuring shit out, and I think we're probably going to have another 6 months of really well, the good news is
Jen likes all the opinions, so thanks, Jen.
The daily briefing is being picked up for another 6-month run. That's the positive news.
6 months, The daily briefing is, I know, it's really, I mean, who would have thought when we started doing this in March that here we'd be in November still doing it? I mean, months and months later. And then, with all these cases surging, and then what's about to happen in America this week. I mean, I feel like I'm just sort of holding on, trying not to hold on too tightly, but, by my fucking fingernails, I mean, a little bit. It just feels very, This feels wild this week and where we're at. If we didn't have the one thing, and I was talking to a friend today and she was saying this thing about, look, it's really about, the simple pleasures, and she was talking about things like, painting and, and I was like, well, I don't paint, but I've been telling you guys I need to get on with my Spanish. I need to play the piano a bit, I think, right now. I think if I did some scales on the piano, that would sort of, it would distract me from, the fact that, when are our kids going back to school?
Well, it's this prolonged uncertainty, and I think this is a real, because we're having the election, and we're hoping that no matter what happens, this is going to be some kind of transition or something's going to happen going forward.
I do want to ask everybody one question, though.
Well, let's not talk about politics if you don't mind. Is that what you're going to ask about?
I was just going to say it's really wild how many, all the sort of, you're looking at me with this look like, fucking don't, maybe she will, Lady Jerry, what's coming?
Easy. Let's not, mind reading is not your strong point.
No.
It's not your strong
point. It is. It is. It totally
I know
is.
we all like to believe that we're good at mind reading.
See, everybody wanted to fart right then, didn't you? You wanted something to break the tension because you were like, oh, Lady Jerry and Lord Jerry, what are they about to do? No, it's all the people who are emailing me and on Instagram, money, send us money quickly now, these grim looks on their faces. And I'm like,
Yeah, you're going to have to do it without my $20. I can tell you that much right now.
Yeah.
Not you.
I don't think you've even given them one $20 bill, right? Or have you? You don't have to say.
I've given my money to the food bank. And so I was saying earlier before you got here that that I was down on Main Street today. They're boarding up Buffalo Exchange and a couple of other places because they're just in a little bit of a panic.
I know. Yeah. Okay. So all right. We'll get off politics. We'll get back to. Let's just get back to the pandemic. Something that seems like I was just
saying. I think
manageable.
This is kind of an inflection point. Not just because of the election, but because the Varinus is going on for a while, and it looks like places are going back into lockdown now. Not just not just talking about the United States, but as somebody was saying, Austria and the UK is going to lock down now for a month again. And,
France, Italy.
and so we're so we're really looking right now, I think, to reset ourselves. You know, I had started a pretty ambitious workout scheme at the beginning of Varinus, and I'd kind of fallen off that. But I think I'm ready to recommit to a bit more of a fitness plan, and I think I'm going to get the bike that I've been looking at, and I think we're going to get you a bike, and we're talking about arranging some camping road trips. You've got the sombrero on.
I put the sombrero on because I just thought maybe we needed just a slight bit of levity. So I thought it would be
nothing
time.
says let's party like a sombrero.
Yeah, like a sombrero.
And,
it's a mother to wear this thing. It's really stiff. It doesn't have much give, and to have it on your head.
Yes. Well,
Okay,
come
all right.
on, come all.
Yeah, yeah. Roll up, roll up. I'm going to do some mariachi singing. Where's your guitar? And have you got some castanets? I'd like
we're
to
not going
really
to castanet it
go
up
for
today.
it. Why not?
But so yeah, we're talking about our van camper possibilities, or renting a camper, which I think is probably more likely what's going to happen with us.
To try it out
We're
in the
talking
beginning.
about some bicycle ideas, and
And
we're really trying to figure it out.
Yeah. Well, I definitely need to go somewhere. So a little bit of
Yeah, well, I don't know how far
different locations.
I don't know how
It's
far
gonna be
we
good.
can go, but yeah, we can.
Well, we can
we
go
can
to
certainly go to another place that's not here. I mean,
Yeah.
I'm not so excited about getting on a plane. I can tell you that.
Well, no, I'm just talking about some, driving places in California where we can go.
Well, when I talk to people who've been on planes, it really makes me feel like that's not what I want to do.
Yeah. Well, I hear that what's the name is good. It's not American and it's not United. It's the other one. Delta. Delta gives you some space. But American and United not so good on giving you space. So yes, they love you in the top hat, Jake. It's completely working for you. It is good. It gives you a certain je ne sais quoi, devil may care.
Yeah. Well, I have to say that the sombrero fits you a bit better than it fits me. I like the way you look in that sombrero.
Yeah, I'm actually now that I've got it on, it just
tonight.
in the sombrero. It's gonna.
Yeah.
It's doing it for you. Is it? Is it really?
Well,
Yeah.
it would be hard to
Yeah.
for you to screw up doing it for me, Jerry.
Right at this
I
point.
mean, you've got that down.
Yeah, sort of. The things that I can do that
You
he
had
likes.
me
You
at-
guys. Yes,
All right.
I did use some special little, New Zealand mating, techniques in the beginning, and he was an absolute sucker for them. He just loved them. He was like, "Gosh." And then American women were a little bit surprised, but I'm like, no, that's how we do it in New Zealand, and
Okay.
you just have to go with it.
Well, so we're looking at a Bible story for tomorrow, and I think we've already had Noah's Ark, so I think tomorrow we'll do the flood. The story of
Part
the
B.
flood. Yeah, and maybe we'll take it from the flood. Well, we've already done the Tower of Babel, so we'll talk about the flood tomorrow, because that's a good election day topic. I don't think we'll have any results, certainly not by this time of day.
No, we'll still just be riding high.
So tomorrow will be the
my
flood. I've got a
ears
letter
are-
from Grandma. I love you. We're going to go to some friend's house to watch the election tomorrow evening.
Yes, we are. We're going to have masks on, be inside, windows open, standing far apart. And then I'd like them to be playing some really fantastic movie in another room, so that when I need to decompress, or if I just want to go and watch the movie, maybe a comedy would be good, that I can go do that, so I don't have to stay for the whole, if I'm not enjoying the election results. I don't know that that's going to be a movie that I'm going to love watching in real time. Anyway, that's enough on the election. I know we're not supposed to talk about that.
Yeah. Well, there's all sorts of people talking about airplanes, and they've updated their ventilation. Yeah, when I think about it rationally, I'm not super scared of an airplane, but I'm not ready to do that yet.
Yeah,
Well, we'll see.
I might have to be flying by myself, and Jake will be driving to meet me wherever it is that I fly to. How about that, darling?
Great.
How about that for a Lord
Great.
and Lady Jerry compromise? Does that sound good?
Sounds good.
Yeah, okay, sounds great. Well, you guys are fantastic, And the sombrero is actually making my head a bit itchy.
Well, let's get out of here.
Yeah, let's
Let's vamonos, as they say in Mexico.
Yes, you
so seize the day. Thank you, Rachel. We'll see you all tomorrow on Election Day. Please don't forget to vote if you haven't voted already. So today's Seize the Day is from Stephen Redhead, which
Who's he?
Well, I'm not sure. I barely could get my Teddy Roosevelt straight today. Each new day offers the chance to start afresh, to achieve those things you most desire.
Ooh.
So what is the thing that you most desire, if I might ask?
Well, it's sort of slightly like a broken record. I'm quite keen to sell my TV show.
All right.
So that's the thing that I most desire, and I do put an effort into it every single day. I do something in that direction.
Well, let's try and achieve that tomorrow.
Oh, let's sell it tomorrow. Yeah, let's sell it on Election Day.
Maybe tricky to do it on Election Day,
well,
but
why not? I mean, come on, the sky's the limit. I mean, let's do it. Yeah. Yep, Davis Vamanu Singh. Have a great night all, says Jeff.
Yes, and Don, thank you for being here and brightening the day. Thank you for being here and brightening our day. You guys hang in there. Take care of each other. Don't give up. There'll be plenty of time to give up later. And, Jerry?
What Todd is saying, everyone vote, because if there are people here who haven't voted yet and this encourages them to vote, we can all count that as one of the people who we encourage to vote, because you're all supposed to get someone to vote. So if you haven't voted, and Todd saying vote makes you go out and vote, could you tell us so we can all take credit for Todd getting you to vote?
Yes, please, don't forget to vote.
I want to tell Michelle Obama
it's
that
hard to believe that anyone out there could have not realized that tomorrow's the election. But yes, please do vote.
Yeah. Don't be
You'll be kicking yourself if you don't vote. Trust me on that.
Yes. Okay.
All right. Have a good night. See you all tomorrow. Love to love you.